Okay, here we go.
Oh. Well, greetings everybody, every listener out there, and greetings to you, Saurabh. How you doing
Doing
today?
well. Thank you. Hey,
Doing well.
hello, everyone.
Have you we're in the FIFA World Cup season.
I love it.
Have you been watching many games? Have you been keeping eye on the score?
Yeah, I've got an app, not an app, but I've got something on my phone from the website, and I'm just tracking every single game. And one of the features I've put my TV on recording every single game. So whenever if there is going on, if I join late, I love this feature. It says, "Do you want to join live, or do you want to look at some of the key plays before joining live?" And I say key plays, so I see some of the key plays. It's really wonderful. And I'm excited because this summer we had hockey, NBA. The Knicks won
NBA.
the NBA championship for the first time in so many years, and then the Hurricanes, which they play from Raleigh, the Carolina Hurricane, the hockey team, they won the Stanley Cup, which is amazing. So all of that stuff going on, and then now FIFA. One of the interesting things is, usually you cheer for the country that you're from, but you and I both have got the privilege of living in different countries. You've lived in three different countries. I've lived in four. And in my case, all four teams, England, US, Canada, and Iran, they're all in the World Cup. So I can cheer for four different. We have four chances of getting to the next round, and I think we have a good chance. Don't ask me who or I would cheer when they play each other. I will keep that a secret. But I'm really excited that all four. And what about you?
Yeah, so actually, like you said, I have three teams which I'm cheering for, and I actually rank them. So I will cheer for England first because that's home. And obviously Iran second because that's the background, that's where we're originally from. And then third, I tell everyone that I cheer Canada just to keep my wife happy. So that's the priority. That's the order of cheering
Yeah.
for. But yes, it's been and as you know, the we have the we had one
Vancouver is
game
one of the
already here
sites.
in PC Place. So and then the next game here is actually Canada. So
Are you planning to go to any of the games?
I would like to. I haven't got tickets yet, but I heard tickets were expensive to begin with. But I've recently, now that I check on the days of the games, tickets are still available and they're a lot more reasonable priced.
Okay,
So
good, good.
maybe I haven't planned yet, but hopefully it would be nice. It's not
Sure.
often that the World Cup comes to your doorstep, so
Yeah,
it would be good to catch a game. So
sure.
anyway, so today's topic, we were thinking um, we're talking about values, like individual values, human being values, and I was thinking you and I have both worked in the business world, and so every individual has values that they stick by, that they run their lives by, and then there's companies when they are looking to recruit staff, when they're looking at staff performance, they have values that they look for in their individuals. And it just got me thinking, um, is there a time where values that make you a good human being are they also transferable in the business world, or are we talking about two different types of values based on individuals? So yeah, I'll just open it up and tell me what you think. What do you think about values as a what values for being a good human being?
Yeah, I mean, my take on this is it's a really good question. Personal values, an individual value, something that it should be uncompromising. As a rule, if it's a value, it should be uncompromising. Now, as you go through your life, you may find new piece of information that make you rethink and reconsider your value. But generally, the values of honesty, truthfulness, and being kind to others, and all of those values are something that, not betraying others for your own benefit. Those are good values that every human being should have. And so, generally speaking, I would say it should be uncompromising. Now, to your other part of your question, is it different in the business world? It really shouldn't be. If something is right, it's right whether it's personal, if it's in business. But there's no question that there are some conflicts sometimes. Your personal value may be at jeopardy, that, for the benefit of, let's say you're in a business world that they expect you to do something that it's contrary to your personal value. If you stick to your value, you may lose that promotion, but if you compromise it, you may get that promotion. The question then becomes, what do you do? Do you give up on value? I think that's, it's easy to say at a sitting when you're not in that situation, say, oh, I'm going to stick to my value every single time. But what if that particular situation was a way that it was a difference between you having a job and providing for your family and not having a job? And again, I'm not suggesting that anybody should give up any value. And as I sit here with you, I would say I would never compromise my personal value. But one will never know until that is tested. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of situations where in my working life where I might have been uh, put in a position where I've had to compromise what I believe in. And so, I honestly, to be honest, I couldn't think of anything specific about that situation. But I personally believe that the values that's required, respect, honesty, treating people the right way, treating people how you want to be treated, empathy, humanity, those sorts of values that are individual, I feel like don't always transfer to the business world. In a business world, when you are trying to be competitive and you're always trying to get one over your competitors because you want more of the market share, I feel like no, you can't. Maybe the right thing in that situation would be not to start a new product or not to do something. Whereas in a business world, you have to. Another question is do you, I mean, I like what you said about not compromising your personal value, but that's tough. That's really, really tough when you're put in that position of, okay, do I compromise my personal value? Or do I do what I need to do to be competitive and progress my career or whatever? And I mean, not necessarily putting, I mean, when it comes to literally putting food on the table, that's a whole different story. Like we talked about it in previous episodes. You mentioned it about living paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people do. So, but it's really interesting. What do you if I know there's a lot of values, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but I'm curious to know what's your top one or top two sort of values that you think are really important in terms of being a good human being. And I'm not talking about the business world. I'm just talking about being a good human being, being a good person in a community. What do you feel like are one of the top one or two good values to have?
I think for me, the top two is honesty. They're very related, honesty and truthfulness. So always tell the truth and always be honest with people. And then if I was to pick a third one, was just to, I don't know how you call it, whether it's called a value or something, but not to betraying other people. Don't do things to benefit yourself at the expense of others. I mean, I don't know what name you would put on that value, but never ever compromise that you benefit yourself at the cost of somebody else. But I want to go back to what you said about some of these values may not be transferable to the business. And you're absolutely right. And I want to be very clear. This is not judgment here, no, because nobody can judge anybody about values until they're in that particular position. We can talk about
Yeah.
in general principle, you should never give up your value. You should always stand by your value, uncompromising. But one never does know what situation he or she is going to be in. One thing I would say about it is that once you compromise a value, unfortunately, it's a very slippery slope, because you could justify giving up on one of your values and doing something, and then later on, there's another situation comes up, and now there's another reason why you should compromise a value. I feel like the more you do it, the more normal it's going to become, and that's a very, very slippery slope of giving up on your personal values. So that's just my point.
Do
What
you
about you?
feel like
What are your values that you value a lot?
whatever? So honestly, I feel like for the top one for me is respect. I think respect, but then that's similar to what you said about not trying to get one over somebody else. That can also come under, but I feel like respect is a big thing. And again, that, and I feel like a lot of that was driven by our father. I feel like that was something that was instant, like really,
Sure.
I felt like it was embedded in me. So respect, I think respect is a big one. And then I don't know what you would categorize. We mentioned it in previous podcasts about always thinking good intention, always thinking of a situation in a good intention. I think that's a value that's not easily, it's not easy to do. When something goes wrong, when something that goes opposite to what you want it to do, is having that good intention mindset. I feel like that's a good value to have, to always think the best of somebody else, no matter what they've done to you, no matter what situation, you always think of the best of them. So that's how I feel. That's what I feel are like two really important values to have and those, and honestly, what you mentioned, honesty, truthfulness, and mine, 100% can be translated into the business world quite easily. Like it can be done quite easily.
Yeah, I think the other thing that just comes to mind when you're talking about what you said just made me think about another one: trustworthiness.
Mm.
Right? What this trust is such an important thing, especially in the business world. You know, I've always said this to my teams that I've led, because the conventional wisdom is you. What do they tell you? You have to earn my trust. You have to earn my trust. To me, you have to earn my trust is already saying that I don't trust you. I don't like that at all. The way I approached this always was to my team: I will trust you 100% from day one. However, if you break that trust is going to take a long time to be rebuilt again. So I'm going to begin with trust. What I'm telling to the person is that I trust you 100%. And I'm going to show that uh, uh, through my action. And I expect the same kind of trust from them. And once this trust builds up between the two, it is going to be very hard to take it apart. So to me, that is how important trust is, that you begin with a position of 100% trust, but as Reagan said, trust and verify. But as it goes through, to make sure that the person understand that now that I've given you 100% trust, there is no room for error for you. You need to make sure that you don't ever break my trust. Because if you do, it's going to be very hard to repair.
Yeah, that's very good. I really like that. Do you feel like where do our values come from? Where do you think and do our values change as we go through life?
Well, I mean, not many main values that we've just talked about. Those don't change, obviously. But what I meant was that as you grow up and as you get more information, as you go to different cultures, you get exposed to different things. Maybe those values, you reconsider those values, and then think about, okay, I was thinking this, but really, this in this today's world, it doesn't make sense to do that. Maybe this is so. Those are the changing values, but there are some fundamental ones that we've already talked about. Those don't change, those will stay. And where do our values come from? From our
Yeah,
upbringing. You already mentioned our dad. I mean,
yeah.
I get a lot of my values from my dad, of course, from our mom as well. But my dad being in the world of business, and always looking up to him. So that's where my values were built at home. That's where I built my values.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think most people's values will come from home, and then occasionally you might come across something in a work environment or that you might pick up or learn or whatever. And also, I wonder, so we're talking about values, and here we are living in the Western world, if you like. I wonder if there's, and it's just a wondering, I'm wondering if there's certain parts of the world where values are very different to what we're talking about. Based on demographic, based on where you're living in the world. I mean, and honestly, I'd love to throw it out to the listeners. It'll be really good to hear from you all to let us know what your values are, what is important to you. Have you guys ever had to compromise values, and has it backfired? Has it been successful? I'm really curious to know,
Me
and
too.
like I said, if you're in not necessarily in, in US, Canada, where we are, if you're somewhere else in the world, I'd love to know if there's certain values that you go by that maybe we don't even think about. So it'd be
I
great
like
to
that
hear
a
from you,
lot
Rob.
because we talked about values could change, values could be different, but I really don't have examples of right off my head. So it'd be great if people can share. This value may be very important in the Western world, but may not be as critical somewhere else, and vice versa. So I'd love to hear from people about that. Yeah, that'd be great. Well,
Great
my
stuff.
goodness, time flies when you're having fun. I don't know. It's already been close to about 15, 16 minutes. So I think we should try to wrap this up. Is there any other thoughts that you have that you want to, any closing that you want to share?
No, I just feel I just I really I think values is a big part of being a human being in this society, in this world, and trying to live a good life. And so it's just for me, it's just interesting the topic to talk about.
It was great. Thanks for suggesting it. And everybody listening, please do leave us your comments. We would love to hear from you, and then we'll share it in the future episodes. Have a wonderful day,
Sounds good.
everybody. Till next time.
Take care.